Hello and welcome back. So in the last lecture, we had a high level overview of what is password hashing and salting and why we should hash a password before saving it in the database. We learned that saving plain password in the database raises a security risk. Let's say somehow a hacker got access to our user table in the database. In that case, if the password are stored as plain text in the database, then the hacker can use any user's username and his plain password to log in as a valid user to our application. And he can cause a lot of damage and access sensitive information about the users. For example, in some web applications like e-commerce application, when you make a purchase from the app, your card details which you used for purchase that will be saved there. And the hacker can get access to that type of information if he can log into your account by simply using your user ID and plain password. And that's why we absolutely need to prevent that from happening by hashing the password before saving it. So let's go to VS Code, and here for this password field, we are going to receive a plain password. Now what I want is before the document is saved in the database, before that I want to hash that password and save the hashed password in the database. And for that again, we can create a pre-save hook because as we have learned, the pre-save hook will run before the document is actually saved in the database. And before the document is saved, before that, if we want, we can modify the value of some of the fields, just like how we are doing it for confirm password. So just like how we have created a pre-save hook here, in the same way, we can also create another pre-save hook. So we have learned that we can have multiple document middlewares, multiple pre-save middleware in this example, and they will run one after the other. So either we can do it in that way, or what we can do is we can use this same pre-save hook, and there we can write the logic of hashing the password. So I'm going to use the second approach where I'm going to use this same pre-save hook for hashing the password. And for hashing the password, we are going to use a third-party package called Bcrypt. So here, let's open VS Code built-in terminal. Let's clear the terminal here, and here let's type npm install command. And here we want to install a package called bcrypt.js. Okay, so I'll press enter and it should install bcrypt.js for our Express application. So the bcrypt.js has been installed. If I go to package.json file, there you will see that in the dependencies, bcrypt.js package has been installed. And which version of bcrypt.js has been installed? Its version is 3.0.2. So this is the package which we are going to use in order to hash a password. So let me close this package.json file and let's come back to this user.js file. There, first of all, we are going to import bcrypt package. So for that, we are going to write a require statement. Here I'll create a variable and I will simply call it as bcrypt. And here we are going to require bcrypt.js package. Now this bcrypt, it is going to store an object, and on that object we will have methods for hashing the password or comparing the password. Currently we are only interested in hashing the password. So what I'm going to do is here I'm going to use bcrypt, and on that bcrypt we have a hash method, and this hash method is used to hash a string value. Here we are going to pass the password which we want to hash, and for that I can simply say this dot password. So this is the password which I want to hash. So if I hover over this hash method, you will see that this hash method, it is expecting a password, a string value as the first parameter, and as the second parameter, it is expecting a salt. This salt can be a string value. In that case, we pass the salt string, or it can be a numeric value. So in that case, that salt is basically the cost factor. So we talked about cost factor in our last lecture. Here, we are going to pass the salt as a numeric value. So here what you can do is, as the second argument, you can pass a salt string. So for that, you will have to create a salt string. For example, I can create a variable, I can call it as salt. And to create a salt on the bcrypt, we have a method called generate salt. And this generate salt method, it is going to generate a salt string. And if you see, it also takes an optional rounds parameter where we can specify the cost factor. So for example, if I say 10, based on that cost factor, a salt will be generated. And now we can pass this salt as the second argument to this hash method. So this salt will be prefixed with the hashed password, just like how we saw it in the last lecture. So this is one overload where we can pass the salt string basically, or what we can do is we can simply pass a numeric value here, which will be the cost factor. For example, 10, 12, etc. So in this case, what this hash method is going to do is it will automatically generate a hash string based on the salt value which we have passed here. Okay, so this is the approach which we are going to use. So if you remember from the last lecture, this cost factor, it determines the computational cost of generating the hash. And higher the value we specify here, that means more rounds of hashing. And that also means that the hashing process is going to be time consuming. But the hashed password which will be generated, it will be more secure. But the common values ranges from 10 to 12. So when we specify 10, the computational cost will be less, as well as the hashed password which will be generated, that will also be strong. Okay, so either you can pass 10 or 12. So this range of value should be fine for generating a strong password without compromising the performance of the application. All right. And let me also show you the documentation for this Bcrypt.js package. And for that, let's go to browser. There I have already opened npmjs.com. Here, let's search for Bcrypt.js. So here we have Bcrypt.js. Okay. So here you can see the documentation for Bcrypt.js. If I scroll down, you see, first we need to install Bcrypt.js in our application. Then we also need to import Bcrypt.js and we can assign it to a variable. Okay. And then if I scroll down, we have this generate salt sync method for generating a salt, but this sync method, it is going to run synchronously. And then in the same way, we also have this hash sync method, which is similar to hash method, which we are using. But again, this is also going to run synchronously. But what we are using is that is the async version. So first we use this gen salt method to generate a salt. And this is the async method, so it is going to run asynchronously. That's why we need to await for the result. And in the same way for the hashing, we are using this hash method, which is again an async version, which is going to run asynchronously. And since it is going to run asynchronously, we also need to await for the result. And to this hash method, first we need to specify the string which we want to hash and then a salt value. And just like how we saw, salt value can be a salt string or the cost factor. So in our example, we are using cost factor. And behind the scenes, this hash method, it is going to generate a salt based on the cost factor which we have specified. Okay, so let's go back to VS Code. And as we learned, this hash method, it is going to run asynchronously. So let's use await keyword. And this hash method, after hashing the password, it is going to return us the hashed password. And also, since we are using the await keyword here, let's make this function as async. Okay, and the hashed password which this hash method will return, we are going to assign it to this dot password. Basically, we are going to assign it to the password field of current document which we are trying to save. Now, before this, I also want to check if the password field is updated. So for example, let's say we are updating the detail of an existing user. And there, let's say we have only changed the first name and last name of the user. We have not updated the password. So in that case, password is not updated and the hashed value of that password is already stored. So in that case, we do not want to hash the password again. Only if the password is modified, if the password is changed, then only we are going to hash that changed password. So here I am going to say skip hashing if password is not modified. And for that, we are going to write an if statement here. And in this if statement, we are going to write a condition. So on the current document, we will use a method called is modified. Okay, so we have a method called is modified on this variable. And to that is modified, we can pass the field name whose value we want to check whether it is modified or not. In this case, we want to check if the value of the password field is modified or not. So if the value of the password is not modified, for that I'm going to use this not operator. In that case, we don't want to execute this logic or this logic. Okay, so in that case, we are simply going to call the next middleware in the stack. And we are also going to return. We are using this return keyword so that the rest of the code will not get executed. It will just call the next middleware in the stack and we will return from this function. Okay, so if the password is not modified, we don't want to do anything. We are simply going to call the next middleware in the stack. But if the password is modified, or if we are creating a new user with the plain password, in that case only we are going to execute this line where we are hashing the password. Okay. Now, if you remember from the last lecture, we need to add a salt to the hashed password because two strings will always generate the same hash string. So if two users have same password, for that, when we use hash algorithm without specifying a salt, it is going to give same hashed value for the same password. And that we want to avoid. And that's why we are adding this cost factor. Basically, what this cost factor will do is it will also add some salt to the hashed password. Okay, so in that case, a more secure hashed password will be generated. So I hope this point is clear now. With this, let's save the changes. And now let's go to Postman and let's try to create a new user. So here I'm going to create a test user and let's say email is test@gmail.com. And password, I'm going to keep it as test1234 and confirm password also test1234. Let's create this user. So in the response, we have received 201 created response and the user has been created with the first name as test and last name as user. And you'll also see the value of the password. So this is the password which has been generated. If you see these two characters, it represents the algorithm which we have used for hashing. So since we have used Bcrypt algorithm for hashing, this 2b represent that Bcrypt algorithm. Cost factor we have used as 10. So this 10 is the cost factor. Then this value here till here, it is the salt string, and this value after the dot, that is the hashed string. And this is the password which we are saving for the user in the database. Let me create one more user. So let's create test2 user. And for the email, let's say test2@gmail.com. Let's send this request. And here, okay, here we have a validation error because it says first name can only contain letters. But here we have specified a space and a number. So for the first name, let's say demo user. Let's send this request. So that user should be created. Okay, and you can see the hashed password for that user. And let's go to Compass. And here, let me refresh the collection. So now we have 6 user documents. If I scroll down, for these 2 user documents, we are saving a hashed password. And if you notice, for both of the users, we specified the same password, test1234. But in the database, in the users collection, when that password has been saved, you will see that the password values are different for this user and for this user. For this user, it ends with JQ, and for this user, it ends with KQ. So this is the use of salting the hashed password. Now let me go back to Postman again. And you see, for creating this user, it took around 168 milliseconds. But now what I will do is I'll go back to VS Code and here I will set the cost factor as 16. Let me save the changes. Let's go back to Postman again. So remember, earlier it took 168 milliseconds. Now let me try to create a new user. So I'll simply say the first name is new and this last name is user. And email is newuser@gmail.com. And let's see how much time it takes to create this user. Because as we have learned, when the cost factor is high, it will do multiple rounds of hashing and that will increase the processing time of hashing. Right. So if I send this request, you see how much time it is taking to create that user. So you will notice that this time it has took around 9 seconds to create the user. So this is the difference we can see when we specify a higher cost value and when we specify an average cost value like 10 or 12. Okay, generally we use a value between 10 and 12. So in this lecture, we learned how we can hash a password and add salt to it using this hash method of Bcrypt library. Now in the future, we are also going to use this Bcrypt library to compare the password while authenticating the user. Currently, we are just creating a user, but once a user is created and he wants to use our application, the user will have to authenticate himself. And for that, he is going to provide his username and password. And the password which he will provide, that will be a plain text. But the password which we are saving, it is a hashed value. So we need to compare that plain text with this hashed value. Now we have learned that once a string value is hashed, it's not possible to get the original string out of it. So how the comparison will happen? That we will see when the time comes. But for now, instead of saving a plain password in the database for the created user, now we are saving the hashed password. And now what I'll also do is I'll go to Compass and I will delete all these users where we are saving the plain password. Okay, and I will also delete the users which we have created as test users. So for example, test user, demo user, new user, etc. So these users I will also delete. And let me also delete this user. So now we do not have any user in the users collection. Now let me go to Postman and let me create one user. I'm going to create John Smith. And for this user, the email is going to be johnsmith@gmail.com. Okay, and password I'm going to keep as test1234 and confirm password also as test1234. Let's create this user, and that user has been created. Let's go back to Compass. If I refresh the collection, we should have one user, John Smith, and for this user, we are saving the hashed password. All right, now let me also go ahead and let me save this request. So I'm going to call it as sign up. Okay, I want to save it in book my stay collection, but there I'm going to create a new folder called auth, and inside that auth folder I'm going to save that request. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.